What's up, everybody? Here's game number 1 in this best of 3 of this sealed game, I guess tournament, if you will. Not really a tournament, just me and a friend hanging out, popping some packs, putting teams together, and seeing how things go. So my opponent starts. He pays 3. He pays 3 for one of those deck stars. And he's going to hold a mask, but I don't think it's going to do much good for him. Here's my opponent's team. He's got a 2-drop monk. He's got a 3-drop deck star. 1 4-drop Adam. He's got a Jade. 2 Miris, 2 ranks, 2 Larfleas, 2 Supergirls. He had a really good sealed opening because he has multiples of a lot of these cards, which is really good, actually, I think. Some okay interactions. Some of these don't really do much for him. I think his best bet is to try and buy up a lot of those deck stars and attack with them, as they're going to get buffs from the different colors in the field. I'm going to pay 4, pick up one of these Registration Act dice. I love this card. This is rapidly becoming one of my favorite forms of ramp outside of PXG and Swarm and that sort of thing. So if you have to bring a card that has ramp, it's rapidly becoming one of my favorites. So here he has another 3 and a sidekick. He's going to pick up a Focus Power. It's interesting that he's running Focus Power. I don't see the immediate utility on it, but maybe there's something that I'm missing. 2 sidekicks, 2 fists. Not so great. Reroll the sidekicks. Get 4 energy, 3 fists, 1 mask. Okay, picking up an Atom. I like this die because I can choose to spin it up or down at the beginning and end of my turn. And it's a pretty strong 3 side. Its top face is pretty strong, 5/5, which is pretty good. So I get it in the field at any face, and I just work my way up, making it stronger until such a time as I decide it's good to go. Put it on its 5 face, really. My opponent rolls a deck star, but does not get it to land. Gets his sidekicks out there. Not going to attack with his sidekicks, it looks like. Got 3 damage on the board. Chooses not to swing with it. So I draw my Registration Act there. Did not roll it, though, so I have 2 generics right now. Definitely want to re-roll it, see if I can. And it comes up. So my opponent can choose to KO one of his characters. If he does, I only draw and roll 2 dice. If not, I draw and roll 3 dice. So this is one of the reasons why I really like this, is the KO option. Gives my opponent an option to KO to reduce that, which in a lot of cases makes him take the bait and KO something, which I'm okay with. I'm not really worried. Here in this case, it's actually good for him to KO something because it lowers my dice count, and it gets him another sidekick die to roll next turn. I'm going to pay 4, pick up another one of those Registration Acts, and end my turn. So my goal here is to get these dice, 2 or 3 of these, probably just stick with 2 Registration Acts, and then just pump them out, churn out all my dice out of my bag, and keep it going. Because in this set, or at least in this sealed game, there's not a lot of ramp. So this is really the only form of ramp that we have, besides obviously the Resurrection Global, which my opponent just used.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So he's got 4 energy here, looking like he's going to pay 2 for something and then 2 for something else. He can't buy 2 monks, so maybe he's just going to pay 2 for 1 monk. What's he going to do with those double fists? Maybe he'll use the double or the fist global on my anger issues to buff up his sidekicks there. So he does. I take 4 damage because I have nothing in the field to block with. Pick up my dice, roll them, and I have Adam here, so that's good. I can pay 2 energy to field him on his 5/5. I should have paid with the fist there instead of the shield, because then I could use the shield to resurrect a die from my bag, but I didn't. I also during these games I set up my camera on the table we were playing on. I should have set it up. I should have set us up in a place that's sort of at the end of the table, so I could put the camera on the floor or on the next table so it didn't get bumped so much. So apologies if the camera's a little bit shaky. My opponent rolls his monk. He's going to pay to field it. Looks like it's on its 2-3 side.
Let's go ahead and make
Gonna
those
field the
give those +1.
field the sidekick, and he's gonna buff with both of the fists that he has. I guess question mark if you want to be specific. Buffs with the question marks using my fist global on my anger issues. I take 2 and I block the monk. So that KOs the monk. So I draw 4. No superhero registration acts just yet, which means I'm just sort of going to bide my time here. This is actually a good thing to keep that sidekick because I know he's been threatening. He's got a dex star in the bag, so I know he's going to want to jump that out and throw it at me. Might actually be good to keep that sidekick. With this 3 energy, however, I'm not sure what I have to do, and that's a good roll. Now I can possibly pay for something. Pay 2, pick up a Miri Riam, field the sidekick, use resurrection, pull something from my bag for next turn. Just a normal old sidekick. So it's a good play, or it's a good strategy within these PXG-less games to get sidekicks out and leave them out on the field, because you're lowering your bag count with the things you don't want to be pulling most of the time. So he's going to reroll his dex star, not choosing to reroll his power or his focus power. It's interesting. Guess he uses that to field. Or he's going to combine it, maybe. He's going to pay all 3 to field because he has 2 and 1 fielding costs respectively. So he passes turn to me, does not choose to attack. I pulled both superhero registration acts. If I roll them both, then that'd be crazy. Okay, so one of them comes up and one of them's generic. I probably like that a little better. So I'm going to pay, or use that, excuse me, not pay. Use that. He can choose to KO one of his dice. I'm going to pull 1, obviously. He's choosing not to KO one of his dice, so I'm going to re-roll. Just roll those 3. So Miri comes up. I can't use her when fielded ability unless I buy a 2 cost and then try to field it, but I unfortunately don't have a 2 cost. Her ability works based on the number of colors you control, and seeing as I only control 2, it would not help. I knew there was not going to be a ton of utility in that combo, but if I can get it to trigger once, maybe twice, I would feel successful. Just because it's a nice little bit of tempo when these when they come from the used onto the board. So he's got 3 here. He's going to re-roll those 3. He's keeping the shield, obviously, for... he's got 2 more shields. Keeping the shield, obviously, for resurrection.
3 shields.
He's picked up that's the primary form of ramp if he hasn't bought Superhero Registration Act. Resurrect. Let's see what he pulls. He hasn't bought much in the way of characters yet. He's going to pay 2 more for, I'm guessing, another monk, because he's got the second one over there still. It's off camera, but you can see it. I don't know what he did those other 2 for. He's swinging in, and we count up the numbers of colors on the field, excluding red. So we have 3. So I choose to block the dex star in such a way that it's going to KO my Atom. All 3 of my characters get KO'd. All 3 of the blocked characters get KO'd. And 1 goes through, so I take yet another damage. But I'm looking at a clear board, and that's always good. So I have the opportunity to set up again. I have the defender's advantage. Got a sidekick, 2 sidekicks, excuse me. Got 2 characters, just 1 character, pardon me. Gonna keep the, obviously gonna keep the Superhero Registration Act as well. Now, do I want to keep both sidekicks? 1 would be good to re-roll if I land both of those characters, but it looks like I only landed Miri, which is too bad because Kilowog would actually be really good there. Doesn't get his ability buff, but a 5/5 in the field or something strong like that in the field would be a benefit. So here's an opportunity where I could obviously use Superhero Registration Act first for 3.
energy to draw and prep a die. Okay.
Now, here's an interesting interaction. With Batman's Global, it says that pay 1 when you use a basic action, and you can draw and prep 1. This time, I chose to do it in that order. I'm not, but because I wasn't thinking about the full ramifications of the interaction itself. What I think you actually have to do, and what I end up doing later when I actually think about it in game, is I think you have to finish the interaction that started, or the basic action itself. Finish that ability off first, and then use the generic one, or the pay 1 global, I should say. So there I did it in a different order. I'm not sure which of those is correct. I would guess that you have to do the full ability of Superhero Registration Act first, and then pay to prep a die with Batman. That just makes sense, as there's not an interrupt at that point if you do it that way. So my opponent has a lot to roll here because he had a lot sitting in KO. He's got a focus power. Again, not seeing a ton of utility there because none of his characters super benefit from being rolled up.
Okay. All right. 3 here.
What would be scary is if he chose to roll energy phases on most of this stuff and then try to buy one of those super girls. So he's going to spin up one of his monks from a 2-2 or a 2-3 to a 3-3. Which balances out the fact that he can't field the 3-3 that's actually there in his reserve pool. He didn't have enough energy to pay for that. So I'm going to pick up some stuff, roll it up, scoot that stuff out of the way so I don't knock it. And get another Superhero Registration Act. Really enjoy that card. It's a fun ramp. So going to use that first. I keep that sidekick because I can get it out into the field. It represents 1 damage, so I've developed my board a little bit. He chooses to KO one of his characters. So I only roll 2. I roll 2 character faces, and I can actually pay for those, which is nice. Field that sidekick for free. It represents more damage on the board, and it also gets that out of my bag. Pay 3, pick up a Jade, and I field Worth for 1. In doing so, I can trigger Miri's when fielded ability and pull Jade from the used pile onto the field at its level 1 face, making her a 0-cost 2/1, which I then attack with, along with, let's see, do I attack with anybody else? Looks like I couldn't have fielded that Kilowog earlier. It must be on its 3 side, level 3 side. I attack with a Worth as well. So when Miri here gets KO'd, I'm going to be able to draw and prep a die. So I can already tell that my team is really built around cycling its dice, just keeping the bag really low, and trying to gain as much of an advantage in being able to roll things as possible. Because if I'm able to roll a lot of dice, if I'm able to roll more dice than my opponent, then I usually have some sort of an advantage. I have more chances to land stronger characters. I have the freedom to attack a little more freely if I choose to. Obviously, I have a lot more board presence if I can ramp and keep things moving through the bag. My opponent rerolls, does not get a monk. Has a lot of energy, though. He's got 2 sidekicks here. He's going to field, obviously. He picks up a Deck Star. That should go in his used. He's using the line there as his spent pile. So his Deck Star should really go in used. He's going to buff up those 2 sidekicks. Put him out on the field and attack with Deck Star. Here he should wait until I choose blockers and then choose which one to buff. It may not make any difference whatsoever because I'm probably just going to block everything straight away. But, I mean, in the essence of the strategy, or the essence of the strategy is keeping your cards played closely to you until you're ready to reveal what you want to do. It's good global management. So I roll 2 of my Superhero Registration Acts. One of them comes up. Don't get a lot of characters here. I only get Worth, so I kind of want to re-roll some stuff just to get more board presence back. Adam does not come up, and I really like that Adam because he represents the ability to KO just about anything that my opponent has. So I'm going to use Registration Act to pull 3 from my bag and roll them. Kilowog, still not making an appearance. Lame. I got to get some more Kilowogs. Buy the other one that's over there. So I'm going to pay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to pick up that Batman. Pay 1 to prep him because there's nothing in my bag thanks to that ability to ramp. And then pay 3 for the Lantern Ring. So I'm looking forward to using Batman in combination with those Registration Acts. That's going to be nice and beefy. He's going to get strong. So my opponent does get some characters here. He's going to pay 2 to field both of those. And it looks like I've stabilized from all that early pressure. He's not able to push much damage through now. I have board, and I've had the board presence for a while. And just attacking is not a good idea. Really, he should think about buying something to ramp, not attacking, and figuring out a way to get some damage through. So I pay all 3 to field both of those. Here I have a huge advantage. So I'm going to push forward with Kilowog and push forward with Jade. He's probably just going to double block, which is why I chose to do that. Keep his board a little clearer. Make him re-roll the things that he's got in his characters and hope they come back as energy. So they're just going to swap and KO each other. I guess that one comes back, doesn't it? I prep a die from Jade getting KO'd. So he has rolled 1 character back. The other one does not come back. So that is exactly why I wanted to attack there. So he had the opportunity to have 3 on board here, but because I attacked and because he did not want to take the damage, he now only has 2 on board because the rolls did not go into his favor. So when you have the board advantage and you want to keep your opponent... Well, I guess the best way to say it is always be aware of where you can take advantage of things, and if it's going to be fortuitous for you to attack, or if you should still stay. And I know it's fortuitous for me to attack because I'm way ahead on the board. I'm going to be able to re-roll those things because they'll get KO'd. They won't go to used. He won't just let them go through because I'm way ahead on board. And I have such good ramp anyway that even if he did let them all go through, everything misses. That stinks. Even if he did let it all go through, it'll come back in 2 turns. So.
All right, then.
So I do have 2 superhero registration acts, though. He cannot afford to KO a character to allow me to roll 2. So he's going to probably pass and let me roll 3. Which I do. I get some energy here. It would have been really great to have all of those characters. I pick up the ones in used from last turn because there's nothing else in my bag. And I can buy everything on my team that's left over, which is hilarious. Obviously, I would have much preferred characters here. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 energy. My opponent's still at 20. I haven't done any damage to him. But again, all I need is 1 good swing because I have such a presence on the board. So I pay to buy that Bleeze. She goes into the bag. Because I have a Bolt there in my reserve pool, I'm going to pay for another Kilowog, finally. And here I should have done this in a different order. If I would have bought that Kilowog first, I could have moved it through the bag into the prep area. And then I could have bought a Bleeze. And if I would have done that, then both would be in prep for next turn. Instead, I'm going to have to dig for that character. Dig for a Kilowog. Here I can probably attack again, even though I'm going to have to work through the bag a little bit. So I've used 2... let's see. Oh, he only gets the +2, I think, because I rolled 1 generic 2-side on one of those action dice. I pay to buff one of my characters by 1, but it doesn't do anything. They still all KO. The cool thing about that Deck Star on his side is he's basically representative of his ability to KO everything that comes onto my board, because I don't have anything that's going to be over 7 attack, or 7 defense, excuse me.
Energy it is.
And again, that deck star gets buffed for every color on the field that isn't red. So if all colors are represented, he gets some crazy number. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4. He gets +4. He goes to 7 attack.
There is 6.
5 if there's an orange, actually. 5.
Actually.
Oh no, 6 if there's pink. So yeah, he gets crazy buffed.
Yeah, you can
It's taking 1 shield.
Yeah, you spin it down.
Okay.
So my opponent has bought a Supergirl, but did not roll it. Or I guess has purchased it. Just purchased it. 2, 4, 6. Yes, just purchased it.
No attack.
And he's gonna prep a die with one of the shields that's on his. Because he had 7 energy. One of the shields that's on his monk that rolled a 2 shield.
6 cost character die.
Yeah.
Did not roll Batman. Would have liked to roll Batman there. Would have liked to roll all of those characters. Only rolled the bleed, it looks like. It's unfortunate. With a little bit better rolling, this game would have been over, probably. Now that I've gained such a big presence on board and had that for so long, if I would have rolled characters earlier, I could have probably finished this. Adam is prepped to come back on the field. I attack with Batman and Bleeze. He just blocks, double blocks. Not double blocks, but blocks with both of them. That bolt will do me no good as there's no global that I can use it with.
In fact, don't roll any characters right now.
And here my opponent really just wants to roll anything, any sort of board presence at all. Otherwise, he probably dies next turn.
Wow.
I'm representing what? That's a 3/4 Batman that can get buffed 2/2 each time I use a generic 2. Miri's low. It's like a 1. I think I rolled the Worth on something low too. Like a 3/4 again. Bleeze is on its 4/4 side. So we've got, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11, 13 damage on board. I've got an Atom waiting, which I can get to 5/5 if I can roll it. He's got a Superman, a Supergirl. Is it Supergirl? Yeah. But can't do anything with it, I guess. I don't know what happened there. I missed it.
So I take it you want to attack with that side.
Oh, he just bought another one. Oh my gosh. I need to pay attention.
You gonna keep that
He bought a second one.
Well,
So I think he had this fist here.
okay.
I think he
2-1.
accidentally spun it to a shield. I'm just going to block with a sidekick. Why not? Or am I going to double block just to be cute? Nah, just block straight up. Keep everything on board because I'm representing the damage. That's the best thing to do. Need to maintain as much damage on board as possible, because, especially now, because he's got an empty field zone. Didn't roll the generic 2, so that won't give Batman the buff, but gives me the possibility of rolling more characters. I think I might have lethal here soon. If I had 13 on board before, that's 14 plus, or that's plus 6 is 19. If I field those 2 characters. Basically, I just need to roll Kilowog. And I take away that, so it knocks it down. I get Kilowog, though. See on his, I think that's lethal. Might be. I gotta pay 2 to field the Atom, 5/5 Atom. So here my opponent chooses to let me roll 3. I roll those 3. Field everything up. And I have more than enough for lethal. I think I have 24 here, so I'm gonna just push everything forward. It took me a little while to realize that it was there because I was so entranced with the fun interaction of Batman, the prep area thing, and global, and Superhero Registration Act. So I present lethal, 24 damage, and I take game 1. It took me a little ways to get kind of comfortable. It took me a couple of turns to stop taking damage. He was doing exactly what he needed to do to try and kill me early, just keep swinging with those stronger characters. But once I hit the board and kind of maintained that board control, everything went easy for me. All right, let's jump over to game number 2. Thanks for watching.